There's a white powder sitting on a hardware store shelf right now for under $1. You sprinkle it onto a bathtub stain that has been there for 3 decades. You pour in some warm water and step out of the room. When you return, the stain has disappeared. Not lightened, not faded, gone. Decades of hard water yellowing, wiped out. Rust rings left behind by dripping faucets, erased clean. Calcium buildup that survived every cleaning product you ever tried, dissolved without a trace. The surface staring back at you looks exactly the way it did the day that bathtub was first installed. Bright, smooth, and untouched. This powder has been around since 1882. Nobody banned it. Nobody recalled it. Nobody made it illegal. It was simply buried, drowned out by shelf after shelf of $15 spray bottles that shout big promises and deliver almost nothing. Because a product that permanently solves a problem in one shot kills repeat sales. And without repeat sales, a $200 billion industry starts to crumble. This is the story of the dollar powder that the cleaning industry has spent decades hoping you would never stumble across. Welcome to True Wild Camping, where we pry open the vaults that powerful industries have bolted shut. If this kind of buried knowledge means something to you, hit subscribe and ring the bell. That is how we make sure it never disappears. The year was 1776. Not in America, in Uppsala, Sweden. A chemist named Carl Wilhelm Scheele was working late in a tiny laboratory tucked behind a local pharmacy. Scheele had no wealth, no fancy institution behind him. He was a clerk who ran his experiments after closing time using whatever equipment and chemicals he could get his hands on. That night, while boiling down sorrel leaves and reducing the liquid, he watched white crystals slowly form at the bottom of his glass flask. Following the practice of chemists in his day, he carefully tasted them and wrote down a sharp, intensely sour sensation. What he had just pulled out of that plant would eventually be called oxalic acid. Scheele recorded how effectively it stripped mineral staining and rust from surfaces on contact. He sent his findings out into the world. The world paid no attention. Scheele was dead by age 43, killed by the chemicals he had spent his whole career working with. His discovery got swallowed up in old journals written in Latin and Swedish, collecting dust for over a century. Outside of a handful of chemistry circles, almost nobody knew it existed. Then came 1882 and a completely unplanned moment in Indianapolis, Indiana. A chemist named George William Hoffman sat down to cook a pot of rhubarb. When the meal was done, he looked at the pot and could not believe what he was seeing. That pot had been stained black for years, caked with grease and mineral deposits that he had long since given up trying to remove. After sitting over a rhubarb boil, it looked brand new. Hoffman was not someone who could let that go unexplained. He made his living selling cleaning products throughout the Midwest, and he understood chemistry at a level most people never would. He broke down the rhubarb until he found the compound responsible. It was oxalic acid, the same exact molecule Scheele had pulled from sorrel leaves more than a century before. He built a cleaning powder around it and started moving it through saloons and taverns, sold in plain brown paper bags. Bartenders put it to work on brass fixtures, copper equipment, and iron surfaces. Results spread faster than any advertisement could. Saloon by saloon, state by state, the product built a reputation that no marketing budget could have manufactured. Hoffman called it Barkeeper's Friend, named for the people who trusted it first. Before long, it was stocked in hardware stores coast to coast. That was 140 years ago. Today, the same formula is still being made in the same city. Same oxalic acid, same reaction, same results. The chemistry never needed an update because it was never broken. But here is the part the cleaning industry has been counting on you to never figure out. Here at True Wild Camping, we do not stop at the surface. I have put together a full collection of everything powerful industries do not want landing in your hands. Automotive restoration methods they gatekeep behind professional use-only labels, with treatments that outperform expensive sealants using things already in your kitchen, water purification techniques that stun the engineers who tested them, pest control formulas that eliminate the need for an exterminator contract, home repair knowledge that tradespeople charge thousands to keep, exclusive and far more beyond that. 10 guides, no padding, nothing wasted. The link is waiting in the description. Stay right where you are though. We are just now hitting our stride. Here is why this powder makes the entire cleaning aisle look like a bad joke. The moment oxalic acid lands on a rust stain, a double displacement reaction fires off at the molecular level. Rust is iron oxide. The oxalate ions released by the acid lock onto the iron oxide molecules and pull them into a brand new compound called iron oxalate. Iron oxalate dissolves completely in water. It does not get smeared around. It does not get camouflaged. It gets broken down and washed away like it was never there. That is a completely different process from what you get out of a spray bottle. Commercial bathroom cleaners are built around surfactants, soap-based molecules that lift loose surface dirt and carry it away. That works fine on dust and light grime. It does nothing on mineral staining. Hard water deposits, calcium scale, and rust rings are not sitting loosely on your bathtub surface. They have formed chemical bonds directly with the porcelain or enamel or fiberglass beneath them. Soap cannot sever those bonds. A scrub brush cannot sever those bonds. The only thing that can is a chemical reaction aimed precisely at the mineral compound holding them in place. That is exactly what oxalic acid delivers. Studies in chelation chemistry back this up completely. Oxalic acid pulls calcium, iron, and magnesium ions apart more effectively than anything found in a standard household cleaner. It does this across porcelain, enamel, fiberglass, stainless steel, and ceramic tile, without touching the integrity of the surface below. One application of a $1 powder achieves what 50 bottles of bathroom spray never could. Look at what the money actually shows. Name brand bathroom cleaners sit at $8 to $15 per bottle. Most households go through 6 to 12 of them every year. That is $70 to $180 walking out the door annually, in exchange for products that temporarily reduce staining without ever fully removing it. Stretch that across 10 years, and one household has spent between $700 and $1,800 on bathroom cleaners alone. A $2 tin of oxalic acid powder handles dozens of cleaning jobs and lasts 12 months easily. Each individual use costs a matter of pennies. And when spray bottles finally hit their limit and the stains win, people start calling professionals. Reglazing a bathtub costs $300 to $600. Replacing one starts at $1,500, and with labor, plumbing adjustments, and surrounding tile work can push past $8,000. Every bit of that expense traces back to not knowing about a powder that costs less than a bottle of water. If you have stayed with this video to this point, you now understand more about bathroom stain chemistry than the overwhelming majority of homeowners. Share this with someone who is still funding an industry that has been working against them. Everything the industry suppressed is inside the complete vault. Link is below. Here is the question that no cleaning company wants anyone asking out loud. If a powder under $1 permanently clears every category of bathtub stain, what exactly is the justification for a 50-foot cleaning aisle? The global household cleaning market brings in over $200 billion annually. Surface cleaners alone generate more than $68 billion of that. Bathroom products sit among the fastest expanding categories in the whole sector. Procter Gamble, Reckitt, Henkel, Clorox, SC Johnson. These companies own the shelf in virtually every grocery store across the continent. The architecture holding all of it together is one single concept. You keep buying. Nothing on that shelf is built to end your problem. It is built to manage it just enough to keep you coming back. A spray that handles today's surface grime makes certain you need a new bottle in a few weeks. A foam that brightens your tub slightly guarantees your return to the cleaning aisle before the month is out. A product that actually eliminated the stain permanently would eliminate the customer permanently along with it. That math does not work for a publicly traded company with shareholders to answer to. Oxalic acid breaks that model completely. There is no subscription play for a powder that finishes the job the first time. There is no brand loyalty to build around something that makes itself unnecessary. There is no way to charge $15 for a spray when a $1 powder beats it in every measurable way. So the industry does not fight it. They do not campaign against it. They deploy a far more powerful weapon: total silence. They pack every available shelf with brightly wrapped products backed by marketing budgets that dwarf the GDP of small countries. They fund advertising that rewires how consumers think about cleaning, turning it into a perpetual branded routine rather than a problem to be solved once. They create an aisle so packed, so loud, and so visually aggressive that a modest container of oxalic acid powder on the lowest shelf registers as nothing at all. No conspiracy required. Just economics doing exactly what economics does. A $2 permanent solution is worth $2 in total lifetime revenue. A $15 bottle that empties every few weeks is worth hundreds per customer over a decade. The incentive structure writes the rest of the story on its own. The outcome is a full generation of homeowners who have gone their entire lives without hearing the term oxalic acid. Professional cleaners have had no such ignorance. Hotel operations have been running oxalic acid solutions through their bathtubs between guests for years. Boat restoration teams use it to pull mineral deposits off fiberglass hulls. Woodworkers reach for it to eliminate water staining and bring old timber back to how it looked before time got to it. Commercial cleaning contractors order it by the 55-pound bag because volume used demands results, and results are what oxalic acid consistently delivers. The trade knows. The corporations know. The person who never got told is the one standing in the cleaning aisle spending $15 on a product that will need replacing before the month ends. That gap, right there, is what should bother you. So here is what you actually do. Next time you are near a hardware store, bypass the cleaning section entirely. Go to wherever they stock paint supplies or wood finishing products. Look for oxalic acid powder or something labeled with bleach. Budget $1 to $3. At home, put rubber gloves on. Put safety glasses on. This is an acid and it gets treated with appropriate respect. Add 2 tablespoons of powder to a quart of warm water in a plastic container and stir it until nothing remains undissolved. Open a window or flip on the bathroom fan before you go any further. Use a sponge or spray bottle to coat the stained areas of your bathtub. Walk away for 10 to 20 minutes. If you are dealing with staining that has been accumulating for 20 or 30 years, leave it for up to half an hour. Put the scrub brush down. You do not need it. The oxalic acid has already started pulling apart the mineral bonds without any physical effort from you. Scrubbing would just get in the way. When the time is up, flush the whole surface with clean water. Then look. The yellow staining is not there anymore. The rust marks are not there anymore. The calcium crust is not there anymore. The surface you're looking at is the actual original finish that has been buried under years of buildup. In some cases, the entire time you have lived in that home. For the worst cases, staining stacked up over multiple decades. Mix a second round at a slightly stronger ratio, 3 tablespoons per quart, and repeat. Almost without exception, 2 passes are enough to bring back a bathtub that looked like a lost cause. Finish with a full rinse and wipe it dry. That bathtub is now cleaner than it has been in years. Total cost, under $1. Time invested, half an hour at most. Elbow grease required, none. Before we go any further, I want to be completely straight with you. Oxalic acid works. It works remarkably well. And precisely because it works that well, it demands to be handled properly. Gloves on every time. Eye protection every time. Never combine it with bleach or any other household cleaner. Not once, not even a little. Keep it away from children and animals completely. Store it in its original packaging with the label readable. Rinse every treated surface fully when the job is done. Handle it correctly and it performs like nothing else available at that price. Cut corners with it and it will cause problems. The choice is straightforward. Your grandparents did not need a wall of branded products to keep a clean home. There was number 50-foot aisle telling them what to buy or what to believe about cleaning. There was a tin of powder stored under the sink and a bathtub that stayed spotless year after year. The industry expanded. Advertising took over. Shelf space multiplied. And a product that had solved the problem completely for generations got quietly relocated to the back corner of the store, where bright packaging and loud branding would make sure nobody noticed it. It was not pushed aside because it stopped working. It was pushed aside because it never stopped working, and that made it the most dangerous product the cleaning industry had ever encountered. But it is still there. It never left. It is still sitting on a hardware store shelf costing less than $1. Still doing, in 20 minutes, what a full cleaning aisle cannot manage in 20 years. The formula has not aged. The chemistry has not weakened. The results have not changed. The only thing that changed is who was allowed to know about it. If this opened your eyes, subscribe to True Wild Camping and put it in front of someone who needs to see it. Every share keeps breathing life into knowledge that industry money tried to suffocate. Every new subscriber keeps this vault from closing. Everything that was buried is inside the full vault. The link is in the description. The next vault is almost ready. What is inside it will shake you even harder than this one did.